What's up, Hawks fans? Welcome to another episode of the Hawks Nest podcast in this 2022 Pioneer League season. My name is Matt Yeazel, the voice of the Boise Hawks, and today on the Hawks Nest podcast, I'm going to have an interview from Hawks starting pitcher Zach Penrod, who is the big storyline right now as we get underway in this second half here in Boise, coming back from the injury, the returner from last year's team. So we're going to talk plenty about Penrod. I have a good chat with him as we talk about his injury, the process of his return, and kind of the significance here in this second half. But I, of course, want to give an update on the team. I record this podcast Wednesday, July 20th. The second half got underway last night. The first game of the second half, the Hawks hosted after going 17-31 in the first half, finishing in fourth place in the Pioneer League South Division. Obviously not the first half that the team wanted, but in the Pioneer League, the second half gives you a clean slate, a 0-0 record in the second half. Obviously last year the Hawks took advantage of that and won the second half after a tough first half. So Boise looking to repeat as the second half Pioneer League South Division champions. Ogden won the South Division in the first half, with Missoula once again winning the North Division, the reigning champions, who of course beat this Hawks team in Game 3 of the championship series a season ago. So again, the Hawks finishing 17-31. They're opening this second half at home with a 6-game series against the Grand Junction Rockies. Last night it was a tight one. The Hawks fell by a final of 6-5. Zach Penrod pitched well. 4 strong innings in his debut. He was on a pitch count, innings limit. He was only really supposed to go 3, as you'll hear him mention. 4 innings, just gave up 3 hits, the 1 earned run, 1 walk, and he struck out 4. Hit 95 as his hardest fastball. So a great debut from Penrod. Looking forward to seeing what he does for the rest of the half. The team has all been very excited for him to be rejoining their starting rotation. But again, a 6-5 loss. Hawks were up 4-1, and the Rockies able to score 3 runs in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and 1 in the 8th. Hawks were able to get 1 back in the 8th, but not able to come back and tie it. So now their second half record is 0-1, and these are big games, though, against Grand Junction. They're starting off the second half with 6 against the Rockies, and then 6 in Ogden against the Raptors. And then for the whole remainder of the schedule, they're only going to have 6 more games against teams in their division. That's in a series with Grand Junction once again here at home from August 29th to September 3rd. So of the 48 games in this second half, only 18 of them are against teams in Boise's own division in the South, with 12 of those being against the Rockies. So right away in this second half, it is crunch time for the Hawks if they want to really solidify themselves as a contender for the division in the second half. So that's where the team is at right now. Exciting time for the Hawks as they look to turn the page along with every other team in the league not named Ogden and Missoula. So that'll do it for our update. Now, without further ado, here's my chat with Hawks starting pitcher Zach Penrod. All right, I'm here with Hawks starting pitcher Zach Penrod. Zach, you made your season debut yesterday. Long first half, I'm sure, of rehabbing from your injury. So I want to talk about that. But first, kind of talk about, we haven't got to talk much about you yet until yesterday this season. So you're a returner to this team from last year. You pitched very well for this Hawks team last year. You're a local guy. So kind of talk about the process of you coming here to Boise and what made you want to play for the Hawks.
I spent some time with the Rangers, and unfortunately when COVID happened, I kind of got I got released, and so that kind of drove me back here, and I was looking for a place to play, and I came out here to throw with Gary and to some of the Boise State guys that were left over, and I did pretty well and started, feeling my arm out a little bit after Tommy John surgery, and then settled in nicely. Gary gave me an opportunity, and I just tried to make the most of it. Now I'm just trying to, stay healthy now that I'm back. So we can have a great rest of the year.
Yeah, and talk about, you were here last year. So what made you want to come back and kind of work through your injury here? And, yeah, what made you want to come back here?
I think I was planning, like, at the end of the season, I felt pretty juiced up after being one game away. I was like, God, I think we really have a shot if we can just bring back some guys, make a run at it again. It was nice to play in front of, like, my family and just be kind of close to home and everything like that, so it kind of kept me here. And hopefully, just keep doing what I can, see if somebody will take a chance on me in the affiliated ball and get back to it.
So now talk about, just kind of for everyone, describe what your injury was, and then talk about kind of the process for you, your rehab process coming back from it.
Yeah, initially I had like a forearm strain, and then I think I got a little bit too hyped up for my first bullpen and kind of went all out, and I strained my UCL a little bit. And just to play it safe and everything, after having Tommy John, it's kind of a scary area to have pain in. So we wanted to take it slow. So I worked with Shane and Kaylee and Adrian all summer, basically, that whole first half, just trying to make sure I could, take it slow, step by step, so that there was no rush and getting back, so that when I did come back, it was 100% and I wouldn't have any issues following, so that I could make the most of the second half. I hadn't initially planned on it being the entire first half, but honestly, I after last night, it was great. Like, my arm feels good today, and it was the right move. Just a lot of like shoulder care, make sure everything's moving the right way, working on like lower half stuff so that my hips are working well, so that it takes a little bit of pressure off of my upper half, so I'm not just throwing all top half like I was last year and just being ridiculously sore every single time I threw. So hopefully this leads to a little bit more consistency and a little bit more, a little bit healthier way of throwing, so that I can stay the entire second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And when exactly did that first forearm strain happen?
It was like right as we were leading up to spring training. I was missing a few throwing days just because of work schedule and stuff like that in the off season. And then I was leading up to my first live and my last bullpen before my live batting practices to face our hitters. I felt something off after my first set, and I just kind of shut it down. I was like, okay, I just don't want to play around with this, and let's see what happens. And I got the MRI done and everything like that. So just to make sure and give me a little bit of peace of mind, making sure that it's not torn and everything like that, because that was kind of a scary time for me. And then once I figured out it wasn't, it was just that process of like mentally getting over the fact that, something happened, and now I just got to deal with it and battle back as best as I possibly could.
So, you opened the second half of this team, obviously similar to last year. You guys are wanting to kind of turn the page in this second half, and you're a big part of that in terms of your addition. So you were on a pitch count or innings kind of limit last night, going 4 strong. What have the conversations been like with you, Gary, and you mentioned the trainers led by Shane? What have the conversations been like in terms of your pitch counts and innings limits going forward, and when you'll be able to kind of let loose?
It should be right around the corner, honestly. I was only supposed to go 3 last night. That was the initial plan going into it, but I think I was only at 43 pitches after 3 innings, and they were like, why don't we just send you out again? Like, because I was throwing bullpens that were 3-4 sets. And so leading up to about 60 to 75 pitches. So I was already around there, so they were like, let's just send them out again. And so next time I'm going to get to go 5 and just kind of stretch me out as much as I possibly can, as long as I'm feeling good, to the point where I think it's going to be like 1 or 2 more like kind of touch and go starts before they finally let me just kind of go and see what I can do. So from there, that's kind of the conversations we've had. Just like I said, entering into it a little bit slower, take my time, so make sure that everything's feeling good before they let me just let it go.
So I know for pitchers coming back from injuries that throw hard like you do, one of the biggest things is if they're able to hit that velocity that they normally do. You got up to 95 at one point last night, sitting pretty in the 90s. So was that kind of what you were looking for in terms of just seeing if your arm was back to where it was?
Yeah. I think last season I saw a pretty consistent drop-off inning by inning, just because I was so arm dominant in my pitching. And so this year I really wanted to put an emphasis on, when I came back, making sure everything's feeling good so that I can stay at a relatively like manageable level. Like I love to go out there and just let it rip and be like 93, 95 the whole time. But like when it comes right down to it, 1 to 2 innings of 93, 95, and then all of a sudden being 87 to 89 isn't going to be as good. So my focus is really just to kind of go out there, feel it out, make sure everything's running smooth so I can stay within a manageable speed, and then when I need to, just be able to let it rip and blow it past some guys when I can.
So kind of along that, talk about your kind of mindset as a pitcher. You're kind of a 4 or 5 pitch
guy, and again, a power lefty, but you're a starter who wants to go deep in the game. So kind of talk about your mindset on the mound and what makes you the pitcher you are when you're at your best.
I talked to Skelly before the game, and I really just wanted to lay it out there. I was like, I want to challenge these guys with fastballs. I think I have a really good fastball spin rate wise, and I think I can really get it by some people. So my initial plan going in was just, and it's been that way for a while now. I think a lot of teams have the scouting report is just, he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. He's going to challenge you. And I honestly, until they make an adjustment, I'm just going to keep throwing my fastball. And then there were a few times where I really wanted to get that cutter in for a strike so that it could kind of open it up for later in the at-bat. It worked out really well once against a lefty where I was able to flip it in there for a first pitch strike. And I was like, all right, now I got him. Like if I get him to 2 strikes, I can go right back to this thing and I'll get him to swing over the top of it. And so it's just kind of one of those things where like I like to overpower people. And then until they make an adjustment, I'm just going to keep doing it and then just kind of use my off-speed sparingly when they're not expecting it to just, get a swing and miss every now and again, or a weak ground ball, get a double play in a situation where I really need one. So.
And has anything about your mindset as a pitcher changed post-injury compared to the pitcher you were last season?
I actually have focused a lot on top of like doing a bunch of arm care and stuff like that, getting mentally stronger. I think last season I let myself kind of boil over a couple of times and kind of let my temper get the best of me because that's always been an issue. And so last night I really wanted to focus on just staying calm, like kind of being in control, making sure I had everything going the way I wanted to. That way if something didn't go my way, like a ball landing or something like that doesn't go my way, or a pitch that didn't go my way last year, I would let it spill out and then I would just like walk the next guy and be frustrated. This year I really want to focus on staying in control, being able to like shut it down, kind of take a step back and say, okay, no, we're good. Like, let's just calm down. We got to get through some more innings. Like, you're good enough. Just keep going at it. So, like I said, yeah, on top of like shoulder care, there's a lot of mental toughness. Try to make sure that I wasn't like losing control of myself out on the mound.
So now kind of talking about your team, obviously you've been able to watch the entire first half, from obviously you're on the team, but you weren't playing, and you're entering a rotation that compared to the rest of the league has been pretty good this season. So what kind of has excited you about this group of pitchers, both starters and relievers, but this starting rotation in particular? What excites you about kind of joining this other group of guys?
I really do think that with the 6-man rotation, that kind of opens us up a little bit to a little bit of variety with facing guys. You don't have one guy facing a team twice in a week like most teams do. So that's nice. It lets us, keep teams on their toes a little bit. They know what they're going to get, but like maybe mix it in a little bit. But yeah, like you said, we have a really good starting staff, and then our bullpen to back it up. As of late, it's been struggling a little bit, but I know that like we have full confidence in them to come in and close our games and everything like that. They're just going through a little bit of a rough patch, but honestly, any team's going to do that. So, but it's really exciting. Join 6-man and then have Mitch go to the bullpen and everything like that because he's going to be strong out of there. And hopefully we can all just kind of find our groove, back our hitters up a little bit, and start winning some ball games. I think we have basically all the pieces to the puzzle. We just got to put them together a little bit. Have pitching and hitting be on at the same time, and then starters go a little deep to give the bullpen a break when they need it. And I think that we can absolutely do that with the guys that we have. We got Ian today, who's going to go deep and give the bullpen a little rest after yesterday. With my spot starts and everything like that, I put a little bit of pressure on them, but I know that they can handle it. And then Buddy on Thursday is going to do phenomenal. So I think the starting staff is phenomenal, and it's just honestly great to join it and just try to set the tone for the week on Tuesdays and let everybody else roll through it.
And, I've talked to some of the other guys who were here last year, but you experienced kind of struggling in the first half and then completely flipping the page, winning the second half, coming up a game short in the championship series. So from your perspective, what were some things that worked for you guys last year in terms of going from struggling to having success in the second half?
I think we all kind of just bought into this team mentality. A lot of times with professional baseball, you can kind of get away from the whole team aspect of it, and you start looking towards like individual numbers, like how am I doing individually and everything like that. And then the second half, we all kind of made this agreement due to the fact that we don't really get rid of a lot of guys like a lot of teams, so we can build a little bit of closer bond. So we had guys that were just like timely hitting, and then that just gets contagious, and then it's just hitting's fun when things are going well, and so we just had our hitters just start going off. Our pitching was backing it up well. We found a really good rotation of bullpen guys to throw in situations that gave us the opportunity. And then when our hitters needed a boost, our bullpen and our starters were there to back them up. And I think that we have that this year. I think we just we're just a few hits short in situations, or just a few pitches here or there that could go our way, or calls that could go our way, and then it's just all about getting hot. That's what it took last year. It's just winning games, winning series. Like take each 6-game series and break it down into 3, win 2 games, and then you're good. Because then you end up with 4-2 every series, and that's a winning record, and that's going to take us where we need to be. So just put an emphasis on coming together, stringing hits together, timely hitting, and then having our bullpen come in and shut down games. And I think that's going to be what we need.
I could tell, the preachings of Gary Vantoli, he says that a lot about the 3-game series. I can absolutely tell that, it's kind of resonating with you guys in the clubhouse. A few fun questions here to close out. What's your favorite part about playing? You're a local guy, as you mentioned. What's your favorite part about playing here at home at Memorial Stadium?
Just remembering how I was as a kid and being out here and like trying to do my best to be a good role model for them and everything like that. Because I remember coming out to these games and I was thinking, wow, these guys are good, these guys are phenomenal. And then you think about being out on the field and being in that situation, you're like, wow, I can't even believe this happened. And then just how great the baseball is here in Boise. Like I feel like we don't really get a lot of big professional guys out here. So like when we do, like I just want to try to be like that guy, because I grew up in Nampa Babe Ruth. It's like I can be that Nampa Babe Ruth guy for him. It's just kind of crazy to me. So I get to come out here in front of these kids that like I wasn't too far removed from the programs that they're in right now, and then it's just possible for them to come out here and just keep doing what they do, keep getting paid to be a kid for a little while. So it's fun.
You've been around a little bit now, so what's your favorite city on the road in the Pioneer League that you've been to?
I gotta say, Missoula, just because they got the good food. The hotel's not the best.
Okay.
They got good food, and I'm not a huge fan of the stadium. But as far as like city goes, I would say Missoula, just because I think they have the best eating spots there.
Okay. Who's got the best mound?
The best mound? Oh, here by a long shot.
Okay.
Yeah, Boise.
On the road though.
On the road.
Ogden's pretty cool stadium. We're about to go there.
Yeah, Ogden's mound's a little tough.
Okay.
I didn't get to pitch on Billings this year, but I heard it wasn't great either. It's kind of a tough one. I would say Kalispell maybe, just because it's a turf mound, might be a little bit tough as well. So I don't know. It's just because Mick gave him a lot of good pointers. I'm going to say Billings because I think it was better than it was last year, because last year was a little tough. But I'll say Billings. You
mentioned Mick, so I got to ask, how have you enjoyed working with him?
Oh, I absolutely love it. The guy's a character, and he's always fun to be around. He knows the game of baseball. He knows pitching really well, and he's always there to like walk you through situations. Like mid-game, he's not the type of guy that's going to come up to you and say that was crap, you got to do better. But he's going to call you out when he thinks you could do better. Like if you threw a pitch in a spot and it got banged, he was like, okay, well, why'd you do that? And he'll let you run through it and give you his point of view, his perspective on what he thinks you should have done. But he's also going to listen to you and what you have to say and how you were feeling about it, and kind of find a middle ground. Okay, how can we approach this next time to be better? And I think he knows a lot about baseball. I think he's incredibly smart about it, and he takes a good approach to being a pitching coach, and I really enjoy it.
Last one, I did see that you just got engaged.
I
so did. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And just, I don't know, you're returning to this team now for a long time injury. You're now engaged. So just, how good are you feeling right now? How good is life right now for Zach Penrod?
The last couple of days have been riding a pretty good adrenaline high. I got to say, last night I came down quite a bit, and I got pretty tired pretty fast as soon as I got taken out of the game, just because everything kind of boiled over. But yeah, no, it's been an incredible couple of days, honestly. Just couldn't take a smile off my face yesterday after I got done. Like, I'm on the mound, I can see her in the stand, she's looking good and cheering me on and everything like that. And I just could not stop smiling every time I came off the mound. So, it's been a phenomenal couple of days, and hoping to just keep going like that. So,
all right, well, congratulations on your engagement, coming back from the injury, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thank you.
That will just about do it for this episode of the Hawks Nest podcast. My thanks to Zach Penrod for taking the time to sit down and chat. Obviously an exciting time for him as he rejoins this team and hopes to lead the rotation to a second half division championship. Make sure to stay tuned with the Hawks on social media at Boise Hawks on Twitter and TikTok, at the Boise Hawks on Instagram, as well as our Facebook page and our new website, boisehawks.com, to purchase tickets. And stay tuned with all of our post-game coverage and everything else you need from the Boise Hawks. So stay tuned with me and get the broadcaster's perspective. You can find me on Twitter at MJ Yeazel and Instagram at Matt Yeazel, Yeazel, as I travel with the team throughout the remainder of this 2022 season. To tune into our broadcast, we post the links on both our Facebook and Twitter page before every game, so you can find it there. But for every home game, it'll be on the Pioneer League website, pioneerleague.com/watch. And for road games, we are an audio stream on the Hawks Facebook Live page. So again, make sure to tune in for the rest of the season as the Hawks look to repeat as the second half champions. Once again, my name is Matt Yeazel, the voice of the Boise Hawks. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.